Hello everyone, you're with me Nurshazana Zulhimi from tvsarawak.com, and these are the headlines for today. Chief Minister installed as Swinburne Sarawak Pro-Chancellor. No more license until illegal timber activities curtailed, says Chief Minister. Sarawak's power demand will quadruple. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Adenan Satim was installed as Swinburne University Technology Sarawak Campus Pro-Chancellor at the university's 11th graduation ceremony held at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching. The installation was symbolised by the gowning of the Pro-Chancellor Academic Regalia on Tan Sri Adenan by Swinburne University of Technology Chancellor Graham Goldsmith. Tan Sri Adenan was previously Swinburne Sarawak University Council Chairman, a position he has held since 2004. And this position has since been filled this year by State Secretary Tan Sri Dato' Amar Murshidi Abdul Ghani, who is also the university's Board of Directors Chairman. Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Tun Pehin Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud was the Pro-Chancellor during his tenure as Chief Minister. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Adenan Satim has asserted that he will not issue any more timber license until timber smuggling and other illegal timber activities are curtailed. He told reporters this after officiating at a seminar on integrity among enforcement officers at RH Hotel. Noting that illegal logging was still very serious in Sarawak, he said up to September this year, the government had seized illegal timber worth 2.95 million ringgit, which was 400% more than the amount of seizures last year. He said that the government sought the cooperation of existing licenses for information of illegal logging activities within their areas or outside their areas. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister assured the public that the state government was taking action against the illegal trading of fresh fruit bunches. Lamenting the seriousness of all palm theft, he said over the last 3 months, illegal trading of FFB involved a total of 72,000 metric tons a month, which translates into 27.5 million ringgit worth of FFB. Minister of Public Utilities Datuk Amar Wang Tengah Ali Hassan said the state could expect a rapid growth in power demand up to 5,000 megawatts in 6 years. Besides, he said the energy demand for the Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy region recorded a steady increase of 3 to 4% a year. He explained that the rapid growth is due to the large demand from the committed and future energy-intensive industries expected to set up within SCORE area and the increase in local domestic, commercial and industrial organic customers. He was witnessing the signing of a contract between Sarawak Energy Berhad and Shanghai Electric Group Corporation Limited, which will see SEC construct the Balingan coal-fired power plant, the first of its kind with circulating fluidized bed boiler technology in Malaysia. He added that with a strategy to utilize local coal and hydropower resources, the state and SCB were confident to meet the rapid demand growth for power and realize the state's SCORE agenda. The Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, IRBM, is holding a 2014 National Tax Seminar at Pullman Hotel and Resort from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on October 28. The seminar's objective is to provide participants with the latest information and insight on any changes to the Income Tax Act 1967 and other related acts tabled during Budget 2015. Those interested are advised to register early as seats are limited. Registration forms can be obtained from IRBM Kuching branch. For further information, call Ungat Nyun, Jenny Kwant or Dayang Rohaya Abang Seruji. And moving on to Malaysian news, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak has stressed the importance of continuing the government's deficit reduction measures to ensure the country achieves a balanced budget by 2020. On the eve of unveiling the 2015 budget in the Dewan Rakyat, he said the government was on track to meet its fiscal deficit targets, which included reducing the deficit to 3.5% by year-end and 3% by end of 2015, saying that the current subsidy levels were unsustainable. Datuk Seri Najib, who is also Finance Minister, underscored his commitment to subsidy rationalisation, noting that fuel subsidies had increased from 1.6 billion ringgit per year in 2002 to 2 billion ringgit per month in 2014. He added that Budget 2015 would be pro-rakyat and would include measures to ease concerns over the cost of living. He also said the budget would help enhance job opportunities, improve education and create more affordable housing. The Malaysian Qualification Agency is proposing to review the Malaysian Qualifications Framework probably next year as part of initiatives to enhance education quality. MQA's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Syed Ahmad Hussein, said it was timely for every stakeholder to consider reviewing the framework, which had been used since 2007 to ensure Malaysia's level of education could be taken to another par. The MQF was designed as a comprehensive explanation or description of the national education system that was understood at the international level, which clarified all qualifications and academic achievement in higher education. Meanwhile, Syed Ahmad Hussein also said that MQA had received a major boost after becoming the first quality assurance agency in Southeast Asia to be conferred formal recognition by the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education. About 170,000 borrowers of the National Higher Education Fund Corporation, which is also known as PTPTN, will be given an opportunity to discuss with the corporation on how to repay outstanding loans before their names are included in the Central Credit Reference Information System. Second Education Minister Datuk Seri Idris Jusof said so far the PTPTN had been very flexible, but there were those who took advantage of its flexibility by not making any payment at all. He stressed that the PTPTN was willing to discuss the mode of repayment depending on the borrower's affordability before sterner action was taken. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein has denied allegations that Malaysia has offered its naval base in Sabah to house a US-owned aircraft P-8A Poseidon. In fact, he said the base did not have the facilities and ability to accommodate the aircraft. Poseidon is a maritime patrol aircraft. Datuk Seri Hishamuddin was responding to a question from Teck Hua, who wanted to know whether Malaysia had offered naval facilities to house the P-8A Poseidon, following a statement made by the US Chief of Naval Operations. He said there had been joint training programs between the Malaysian Armed Forces and the United States based on a memorandum of understanding signed on June 22, 1990. Under the agreement, 7 types of joint training were held each year to raise the level of professionalism, skills and expertise, and sharing of knowledge and the latest military technology on information and national security secrets. Hishamuddin gave the assurance that there was no indication of the presence of foreign military intelligence in Malaysia who had come into the country through these joint exercises. Moving on to global news, Ukraine dispatched top envoys to Washington and Brussels on Wednesday to secure help in the face of a surge in clashes with pro-Russian insurgents that killed 8 more civilians and troops. Ukraine's top policymakers traveled to NATO and EU headquarters in Brussels, as well as the Hague International Monetary Fund office in Washington, to win further diplomatic and economic backing from Kyiv's new partners. A one-month truce in Ukraine is teetering on the verge of collapse just weeks before a general election meant to reunify the country after 6 months of conflict in the east that has killed nearly 3,400 people. The number of civilians dead from shelling and mortar attacks grew to 19 since the weekend, when Donetsk authorities reported 3 additional deaths in the main rebel-held city overnight. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has urged Russia to convince the fighters to resume political negotiations that could grant them broader rights within a single state. But the Kremlin denies having any hand in the conflict and accuses the West of trying to wrest the ex-Soviet country out of Russia's sphere of influence. Ukrainian Central Bank Chief Valeria Gontareva was meanwhile meeting with IMF boss Christine Lagarde in the hope of speeding up the delivery of a $17.1 billion loan and even expanding the amount. Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk told his cabinet that Gontareva would ask the IMF to modify its program taking current realities into account. The 2-year IMF arrangement is part of a global $27 billion package approved in April to help the new leaders avert a looming bankruptcy and pull Ukraine out of its 3rd recession in 6 years. US-led warplanes on Wednesday intensified bombing raids against jihadists advancing on the strategic Syrian border town of Kobane in a desperate bid to help Kurdish forces who are holding out despite the Islamic State group's 3-week assault. US and Jordanian aircraft pounded IS positions near Kobane, destroying barracks, armed vehicles, and a logistic command, even though the Pentagon admitted that airstrikes alone were not enough to prevent the strategic town from falling. Across the border in Turkey, protests over Ankara's failure to come to the rescue of Kobane's predominantly Kurdish residents sparked clashes that claimed at least 21 lives and forced authorities to declare a curfew in 6 provinces. US President Barack Obama said after meeting his defense chiefs that there would be no easy victory against the IS group, but that a growing coalition was resolved to confront the jihadists. A Pentagon spokesman earlier said the air offensive needed to be coupled with troops on the ground to defeat the IS group, but such a capable force currently do not exist on Syrian soil, Rear Admiral John Kirby said. The latest strikes near Kobane destroyed 5 armed vehicles, an IS supply depot, a command center, a logistics compound, and 8 occupied barracks. Activists in Saudi Arabia said on Thursday they are revving up a Right to Drive campaign using social media in the world's only country that bans women from getting behind the wheel. An online petition asking the Saudi government to lift the ban on women driving has attracted more than 2,400 signatures ahead of its culmination October 26. The petition states, quote, "The issue is not that of simply a vehicle driven by a woman, but the acknowledgement and recognition of the humanity of half of society and the God-given rights of women," unquote. It adds the ban is a result of tradition and custom because there is no single Islamic text or judicial ruling prohibiting women from taking to the kingdom's highways. The petition website www.october26driving.com includes short videos of women driving while clad in the hard-to-toe black robes they are required to wear with only their eyes exposed. Activists are also encouraging women to post pictures of themselves driving using a Twitter hashtag #IWillDriveMyself, as well as on Instagram and YouTube. And that wraps up our news for today. Don't forget to watch our special discussion on Budget 2015 with my colleague Nadia Nazir and YB Professor Dr. Abdul Raza Abdul. I'm Nur Shazana Zulhimi. Have a great weekend ahead.